So at your root, you have the Magician. So it looks as though you are not going to be held down for long emotionally. Even though you are processing something difficult right now, you will bounce back rather quickly if you haven't already. It just seems like you are processing the last little dregs of some kind of a difficult emotional situation, whatever that might be. But it seems as though you have the power to manifest what you want, and you have the willpower and the focus to do it as well. I definitely see something in here about going from something that is drudgery or menial into something that is meaningful and creative for you. You might want to do some volunteer work or to get involved with community pursuits or to work with a group of people on improving your environment. Or this could be focusing on what really matters to you in your life and not forgetting to nurture those things. Obviously, this magician is out in a community garden shoveling away because he fully enjoys it and he's so looking forward to finishing off this garden so everyone, and also I'm getting a feeling of everyone working together on this too, but it's focusing on the magician to take a proactive role in creating what you wish and to feel really good about this. This is very different. You can imagine, this man who is the magician in the picture has no qualms about leaving the dirty dishes behind in the apartment while he goes out anyway and does what he actually wants to do. And he has help because it's a community garden. I'm sure there are lots of different people that take turns working on it together or apart separately. You need to get outside or you need to work on a creative project so that you can embody what you actually want to. Working with plants would actually be really good for you at this time if you can. Getting house plants, working with plants, working with gardening, going outside and being around nature is really important for you, and it helps you to feel empowered. You've actually, at your core, you feel really empowered. It feels as though you're finally accepting the fact that something is not workable and that you need to put your energy into something completely different. And so you are doing so, and it feels good. Let me pick more on the magician. Exploration, yeah, you need to get out. You need to go travel or go experience something completely different. And it takes your initiative and your willpower and your focus, but it seems as though you're more than happy to do that. You definitely have power in this situation to make things happen. You might actually be choosing to leave a situation behind so that you can go explore and go travel, possibly take some trips or a trip that you've been wanting to take for a while. This will help you to get a new perspective on matters as well. Someone may invite you to go travel to where they are to help them with some kind of a project that they're doing that would snap you out of the doldrums, out of your... I feel like you've been going inside your own mind too much. It is important to transform, but it might be that you've become lost in your own emotional body with trying to rationally figure things out when really you just need to get physical. This could be choosing to go jogging every day. It could be yoga. It could be stretching. It could be gardening. It could be swimming. It could be a lot of different things, but it's important for you to get physical. However, it is saying that maybe you're recovering from some kind of an injury. And I know that sometimes, it's important to take care of an injury while it heals, but sometimes we can favor an injury when really with physical therapy, it's important to know what your limits are so you don't push yourself too much. But at the same time, you don't want to favor an injury because then that muscle becomes weak, or that finger will no longer be able to stretch as much because you are not exercising it. And so there's a fine line in this reading of, with physical recovery, you don't want to favor your injury. You also need to get physical in whatever way you can in order to help it to heal. Otherwise, you could end up with a part of your body that is extremely weak because you haven't been exercising it enough. But also, you don't want to overdo it either. You don't want to overdo it either because then you could re-injure it. So, and use this also with an analogy, as an analogy, if this is not your specific message. It's something akin to that. It's important for you to push yourself in a good way, just don't overdo it, and don't favor it. Don't nurse it overly, otherwise you could end up having parts of you that are not functioning the way that they normally do. So this could even be part of this Ace of Coins that's helping you. Is a new regimen, a new path of action, something that you're doing that is physical to keep yourself busy. This could be an artistic venture. It could be creating beauty in whatever, whether it's music, art, writing, cooking, gardening, creating a sculpture, creating a rock wall in the garden, whatever it happens to be. It seems as though this is giving you something to do and gives you something to look forward to, and kind of brings you back to the present rather than dwelling in the past. And also, if there is a mess that you temporarily need to leave behind just for your own emotional sanity, eventually you may want to go back to that mess and clean it up, or turn that mess into something completely different. Might even be that you realize you have too many dishes. You might want to donate half of your dishes to a Goodwill so that you have less dishes literally to wash, or less objects to take care of. If you have a lot of clutter in your home, you may want to give a certain amount of it away. Do you really need all that? That way it will create less mess. If you have children, and you feel as though they are not learning how to clean up after themselves, instead they will pull out a plate, eat some food on it, like a muffin where there's two crumbs on the plate. They may put it in the sink and then grab another plate to make something else. You may need to instruct, because notice in here there is a little child. You may need to instruct your children in basic lessons, like if there's 2 crumbs on the plate, you may want to reuse the same plate for the next snack you're going to have instead of pulling a whole different plate. Or to teach your children how to wash dishes, or how to clean up after themselves. That way you are not saddled with all of that mess, and you are teaching your child or your children valuable lessons in learning how to take care of themselves, or learning responsibility, and also learning that you are not built to be their maid. They're old enough at this point to do little things, or to learn basic things. You might be deciding to teach your child how to garden, or how to do things, showing them by example how to do things, so you have less on your plate. And it's also good for them as well. Helps them to feel empowered. So, in the past, you have the Lovers. The Lovers. Okay, let me pick more to go with that. Tell me more about the Lovers. Okay, I'm going to pick one from a tarot deck to try to narrow this down. All right, this is really specific, so if this doesn't resonate for you, don't try to make it fit. It may very well be a specific message for a small group of people or just even one person, but let me show you what is in here and then I'm going to put it back down and read it for you. I'm clairvoyant, which means that I have visions in my head, and oftentimes illustrations jog visions in my head, so I actually have to look at it. And when I'm doing this, you're looking at it, but it's harder for me to look at it. So I'm going to show you them, and then I'm going to put them down so I can look at them. So you have the Lovers. Notice it's an elderly couple, possibly that has been married or been together for their entire lives, for a very long time. There's a dog in between them for loyalty. And in the picture, there are also other couples in the background of other couples, other lovers. But the main couple that is in this is older. And then you have legacy, mystery, spaciousness, the Ten of Wands, and the Princess of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing in here, this is going to be pretty specific, is that you may have had an example in your family of long-term marriages or commitments. You know, those stories of people who have been together their entire lives and are still madly in love with each other right up till the very end. There's oftentimes a legacy with this where they cannot live without each other. So when one passes away, shortly thereafter, the other one passes away because they die of a broken heart, or they just can't conceive or comprehend living without their partner because they have been together for so long that it's like a half of them is missing. It's that kind of love, that kind of true love where they literally cannot live without each other. That's interesting because this is Major Arcana, the Lovers, which is ruled by Gemini, you guys. And I've probably told you this story before, but that is reminding me of the myth of Gemini, the twins, Castor and Pollux. Here, I have a feeling that I have to tell this story. So, Castor and Pollux, their mother was King Tyndareus's wife, the queen. And Jupiter, as we all know, if you're familiar with Greek mythology, is constantly falling in lust with women, whether they're immortal or mortal, and oftentimes disguises himself as an animal in order to, let's face it, in the myths, it's rape. Jupiter does not care about consent. Sometimes the other woman consents, sometimes they are terrified and they try to run away from him. So what happened is that Jupiter rapes King Tyndareus's wife. I forget her name, Queen something. That night, she also is with her husband, and she ends up conceiving twins, Castor and Pollux. One of them, I forget which one, is Jupiter's son, and the other one is the king's son. You would think that they would be at odds with one another, but what ends up happening is that the twins look very different from each other. One is immortal and one is mortal. But rather than warring against each other or having a difficult relationship, they are actually twin souls or soulmates. They cannot live without each other. They are the best of friends. And throughout their lives together, they were pirates. They ran around with Jason and the Argonauts. I think they were caught for stealing cattle. They were mischievous Gemini, Gemini twins. And something happened where the mortal one was wounded fatally by something, possibly with Jason and the Argonauts, and he lay there dying. And his twin, the immortal one, couldn't live without his brother. And so he begged his father Jupiter to just let him die so he could die with his brother. He could not live without him. And this time, in this story, Jupiter decided to take pity on him, and so he allowed him to die alongside with his brother, and they were both placed in the sky as the constellation of Gemini. And so it's very apt with this story I'm getting in here and that's also where people get the words twin flame, the word twin is in there for a reason. So sorry about the long, random, off-track story, but there might be something in your family where there is a legacy in your family of this type of bond or this type of love between people. You may have grown up with grandparents that were madly in love with each other right up until the end, and they couldn't live without each other, and so they may have died closely in the same year or within the same month or something like that. And so you grew up with this value or this, you admire this. And also, you guys are Geminis. A friend of mine who was a Gemini on the Taurus cusp, she was obsessed with the idea of twin flames. She died 6 years ago, still longing for her twin flame who she felt she had never met. That's a lot of what she talked about. I used to do readings for her. And so there may be some part of you that really longs for this, that longs for your twin, that longs for your twin flame, or that you want this type of a family situation. But for someone, it may not have turned out to be that way. It may be that so far, I'm not saying that you will never experience that, but so far in your life, you may have been longing for this or wanting this, but also you have a part of yourself that is meant to be independent. There's something about this type of a bond that is a mystery to you, where you long for it or you're intrigued by it, but it's a mystery. And it's also very rare, let's face it, that type of love. So I'm kind of getting that one of you or some of you may be a single parent where you've had to do things on your own and you're wondering where your twin is. Or you thought someone was your twin. You may have thought someone was your twin and you were so sure, but it turns out that they weren't. And so you're having to cope with the fact that you still haven't met your twin, or you're still alone, or you're still... But there's also a part of you that enjoys that autonomy as well. Maybe for some reason in certain relationships you thought it was what you wanted, but then when you were in it, you realized you didn't have as much freedom, or you weren't able to compromise the way that people have to in order to make a relationship last. And so you've been trying to process all this. Is this really what you want? And if it is what you want, how do you reconcile that with the other part of you that wants space and that wants autonomy and wants to do your own thing? Is it possible, you guys, that you can have both? I feel as though your standards are extremely high with relationships because you have observed relationships either in your family or in your life that are of that caliber. And so your standards are very high. It might be hard to find that embodied in actual 3D earthly reality, where you're wondering if this is an illusion or if this is possible. And if it is possible, what do you do with the part of you that wants to run away or wants to have space or does not? How do you reconcile these two parts of yourself? And if you have a child or children, you're tired of doing the single parent thing, or you don't want all of this on your back. You want help. Could there be some way of solving this riddle without by being creative with possibilities here? And it may be that some part of you feels responsible, like you need to be in a relationship for the sake of your child. You want your child to have two parents, not just one. Or you would like to have more children, and so that requires a partner, unless you feel like taking a visit to the sperm bank. Or if you're a man, having a woman somehow donate a baby to you. It takes two people to have a baby. So what do you want? I feel like this is a riddle you're trying to solve. Is this, what do you want exactly? There may be different parts of you that want different things. Is it possible for you to have a relationship and have space? Maybe you need to open up your mind to different ways of relating or having relationships where it's not so black and white. And there may even be a part of you that gets down on yourself or even thinks of this type of love as being a weakness. I mean, it's scary to think that you can't live with someone without someone else, that if your partner, this is hypothetical, I'm talking, this is like a conversation in your head. It's almost like you see this as also being codependence. You know, is it possible to have true love without codependence? Because when one of these lovers passes away, the other one is very tempted to follow them. And there's something about that that is, you see as a kind of weakness. You know, why can't they survive and be here in the present without their partner? How can you have this kind of a bond without that type of codependence? So, but also part of you longs for that. So it's like, what do you want? What do you decide? The lovers is a major decision. You know, what do you choose to manifest? May just be, you know, some people fall in love with their soulmate or their twin flame later on in life. Some people, it happens to them very young. Some people, that's not a central focus of that lifetime, and that's not even really in their top priority list of things that they want to do with their life. So everybody is different. Okay, let's move on. So your best possible outcome is the Wheel of Fortune. Things are about to happen that is extremely positive. Positive change. Things are about to grow. Your luck is about to improve. If you just take that step through that door, the world is beckoning. Magic is beckoning to you. Do you accept it? Do you walk through that door? Do you leave the mess behind? If you do, you will be supremely, amazingly surprised at what kinds of magic can pour into your life if you just take initiative and walk through the door, or initiate something and just do it. Things are about to get a lot better. So let's get more on that. You may need to travel. Travel is in this reading just to clean up your energy and to become re-inspired. Okay. nice. To me, this feels like a work thing, or things will work out with money or with your goals or what you're trying to manifest at this time. It may just be that something needs to be readjusted, or you need to have a break temporarily so that you can receive a vision or receive ideas about how things can be adjusted. So let's see. Yeah. You'll get your strength back. Your challenge was strength, and your best possible outcome is strength. So you are stronger than you realize. Or maybe you do realize it is just everybody needs to indulge in a moment of weakness from time to time because we're all human. You can't be strong all the time. But this is saying you are stronger possibly than you realize. You may be as strong as you realize. You have it in you to keep on going, and something is about to happen in your life that is going to improve things significantly, or you're ready to go again, or the time of healing is over and you have your strength back. And there's a lot of inspiration and new growth happening in your life. I kind of feel as though you just need to listen to it or pay attention to the signs. It's not necessarily anything that you really need to do. It's just something that happens, but you need to have your ears open to hear it. Okay, so in the future, you have the Eight of Coins. So if you have been looking for a job or you recently started a new job as what's helping you, it looks as though it's growing rather quickly. I'm still getting something in here about immediately being promoted. Like you start a new job, you're overqualified, but you're not calling attention to it, and somebody notices that you are overqualified and promotes you almost immediately to some other position where you're able to really show off your skills. If this is your own business, it looks like you started your own business, you built it from the ground up, or you have solidified the foundation for it, and now you're at a point in the future where you can start hiring employees or other people to help you with the business, where you're not the only one running it. It's expanding. You are definitely busy in the future. If you have been struggling for money, I don't see that in the future at all. I see the money rolling in and you being busy with what you love. If this is a new job, it looks like you get along great with your coworkers and you enjoy the company of the people that you work with. And not only that, I feel like you're passing on skills to people that are very interested in becoming what you are or doing what you do. And not only is the money coming in and business is growing, but you're able to pass on your skills to be a teacher of sorts. And you're very enchanted by the fact that people actually want to learn what you know, and that people are excited about learning from you. This could even be a teaching position for some of you. Or a situation where you get to teach skills to people that can significantly improve their lives, or hire people that normally mainstream society stays away from hiring, whether it's the elderly, people with mental challenges, or that are mentally challenged, or some kind of disabilities, or I don't even like that word disability, but you know that thing about when people are different, like hiring somebody who's transgender, or hiring somebody who's covered in tattoos, or hiring someone who has a history of going to prison. These are all, and these are just a few examples. People with Down syndrome, people that are older. Not everyone is young and fresh and healthy and fast. You want to provide work for people or help people find work that normally are not hired out of discrimination. Let's face it. And so it's very meaningful, whatever this is. It's like you feel like not only is business going well, but you are employing people who really bad need work and that probably wouldn't necessarily have a chance in a lot of other places, unfortunately, you know, or hiring someone who has epilepsy, just something. Teaching skills to young people. Maybe, I can talk about this because I was considered I have epilepsy, by the way. I don't know how many of you viewers know that. I've had lifelong epilepsy since I was 6 months old. What I was trying to say is that I was one of those children that had a hard time in school because of learning disabilities. By the time I was in fifth grade, I was college level English and third grade level math. I've always had a really hard time with mathematics, even just basic mathematics. My intelligence is different. That does not mean that I am stupid. Unfortunately, the way that I had to deal with schooling is I was told that I was stupid. And so, just because there are people out there that don't learn things the way that the mainstream learns them, does not mean that we can't do anything with our lives. You know, it's like for young people that are in high school, something like that, they may not be able to go to college because their SATs aren't high enough or their IQ score isn't high enough. That does not mean that they're stupid. That does not mean that they can't have a career or go with their own unique gifts. It's just that our structure is not built for that. I know that there are trade schools where you can learn a trade. Like you go to a high school where you learn welding, or you take classes at a community college that will teach you how to do pastry baking and become a pastry chef. So I feel like, long story short, you might be in a position where you can create jobs or teach skills to people that normally would not really be given a chance. And fortunately for all of us, these things are changing now, where this is no longer something that we don't talk about anymore. This is something I feel like, even though the world is crazy and there are so many things going on that are discouraging, I do see a lot of things going on in our societies where people's understanding of differences or different ways of understanding things are increasing. People are becoming more sensitive to each other about judgments and wounds and lots of things like that. That's why we have all of these new languaging words now that we never had before. So I feel good. I feel really good about this. You might be going into something completely different from what you were doing before, and something about it is really satisfying for you. And if for some reason you have a child who has special needs or has learning disabilities or whatever it happens to be, you are a really strong protective force for your family and your children, where you will not allow them to be told that they are stupid or can't do anything. You will stick up for them and make sure that they are treated with respect and given equal opportunities just like everyone else. So, yeah, feels great. Let me pick a little bit more on that. Okay. Adventure, Life is an adventure, and you can make your work situation or your talent situation into an adventure. I feel really good about this, like you look forward to going to work. You enjoy being around the people that you work with. Work is an adventure. If you don't have that right now, or you don't have this going on right now, you do have it in the future. So don't lose hope. Wasn't there hope in here? Or trust? There was trust in here. So don't lose hope on finding just the right thing for you. It seems as though it's right around the corner. Maybe that's why you have the Wheel of Fortune as your best possible outcome, is things may not be as bad as you think. Or the reason why you're having to leave a previous situation is because you're going towards something so much better. Yeah, and don't forget to follow your dreams or pay attention to what your dreams are of what you would like to be doing with yourself. So you have the Eight of Coins. You have Dream Time. And you have Adventure. And right now, things may temporarily be on hold, but that is important, and it's happening for a reason, which is to enable you to be able to look at things from a different perspective. This is the Hanged Man. You are definitely either receiving already or about to receive some brilliant, mind-boggling ideas of how things could be worked with, how things could be adjusted, or a totally different mindset or a totally different perspective on things that opens things up for you. Other people may not understand what you're going through, or other people may not understand what you're doing. But that doesn't matter. You know what you're doing, and if you don't know what you're doing, you have to trust that it's happening for a reason. You may want to get away for a little bit, maybe on a trip or a vacation, or to get out of town or out of the city, or just do something completely different, even if it's just for a day or two, to help you to see things from a different perspective. It might be that other people feel as though you are holding things up. If there is someone around you that may be temporarily holding things up, it's happening for a reason, so try not to get aggravated with them or annoyed with them. Same thing, vice versa. If other people are getting annoyed with you because you need to have a different experience or you need to express your unique qualities, I have a feeling that later on they may understand it. They may not understand what you're doing right now, but later on they will. And really, I mean, this is a kid hanging upside down on some bars that are keeping people from being able to go inside the building. This is a minor setback for them. I feel as though they're being overly annoyed about this. Maybe these people need a change in perspective instead of you. Okay, let me pick one more on that. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Who cares what other people think? You know what you're doing. Follow your instincts. Follow your heart. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid if things are held up. It's happening for a reason, and things will not be held up for very much longer. Especially since you had the Wheel of Fortune as your best possible outcome. Things are about to start rolling and moving again, so enjoy the time while you have it right now. And don't forget to be perfectly fine with being different or with seeing things differently. Other people, again, may not understand what you're doing, but that shouldn't stop you in any way. And before you know it, they'll understand more. It may be that a relationship is possibly on hold right now, but it feels like it's temporary to me. It doesn't feel like it's permanent. Maybe you need to have a temporary separation or a temporary break in a relationship so that you can realize how much you treasure it and decide whether you want to follow it or not. At least then you won't have any doubts if you go back into it. You'll have renewed purpose. Either that or you'll choose to follow your heart elsewhere. So in your surroundings, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, something has ended, whether it's a relationship or a family situation or a work situation, whatever this happens to be. There has been disappointment with your surroundings. Things did not turn out to be embodied the way that you thought that they would be. But it's okay. It seems as though you're going through the last little dregs of letting something go or of mourning something, and before you know it, you'll be feeling a lot better. Because this is the Five of Cups in your surroundings, your hope is for the Six of Cups, the very next number up. So this last little bit of loss is passing away. Allow it to happen. Don't fight it, but also don't hang on to it either. Because your hopes are that you will be able to have fun times again, to be able to spend time with loved ones, with soulmates, to be able to create beauty and fun around you, especially for family members. Like if you have children, you want things to be better for your children. You are willing to heal and become more optimistic and to get cast off the sadness and become re-inspired again, not only for yourself, but also for the emotional health of the people or children that are around you. Your hope is for love. Your hope is for celebration. Your hope is for happy times that will become one day happy memories. And to do your best, I'm feeling if you're a parent, you want to do your best in making sure that your children are happy or still are enjoying themselves and doing things together. This looks like a mother or an auntie or a babysitter or whoever this maternal figure is hosting a little tea party for these girls to be able to get together and have their friendship time. Even the little dog is happy. So your hope is that you will be able to appreciate the precious moments in life instead of constantly feeling frazzled. Where is it? Instead of feeling overwhelmed or frazzled or just there's too much going on, where there's too many things to do, where you feel as though you can't do this. But your hope is that you will get back to this again. And your general outcome is the Ace of Cups. There might be new love in the picture for some of you, or a new friendship or a new soulmate coming into your life, or a new way of feeling, a new feeling of joy and love, and just that you're on to a brand new adventure, because this is an ace. You have lots of love around you. You have lots of people that love you. You have kindred spirits and soulmates. Life is an adventure. I feel as though you refuse to let anything keep you down for too long. Before you know it, you'll be springing back up again, getting your strength back again, and then it's back to adventure time, or it's back to true love, or it's back to cultivating love in your life of all different kinds. There might even be, if you're a mom or a dad or you have kids, it may be that one of your children is being recognized for their gifts or has won some kind of a competition or is being applauded. You maybe get to go see a performance done by your child where you get to sit there and be a proud parent. Or you want to be a coach or a encouraging kind of a person for others in your life. You want to uplift people's spirits. You want to make sure that love is still alive in the world. You still want to have adventures, and it seems as though love is the most, and love being all different kinds of love. Love is the most important thing to you in your life right now. And to recover, to feel better, to have a new door open up in your life that brings you to love again. So, okay, let me pick one last little message and then I'll let you go. This reading is way longer than the other ones are because I had to tell you the story of Castor and Pollux. So, all right, let's see. Anything else that you would like them to know? Wonder. Wonder and wander. Wandering through a new doorway in your life. Go with it. Go towards the new. Be curious like a little child. Be curious. Have an open mind to your possibilities. You might be extremely surprised at what ends up happening in a good way. Okay. See you guys later. I'll be coming out with mid-monthly readings probably around the 14th or the 15th. And if you are curious about that, you may want to check it out. Otherwise, I'll see you next month. And good luck with everything. Okay, bye.